Out on the waves where the shadows creep, there's a tale of a pirate, a secret to keep, with a heart full of darkness and a dagger drawn. His name is Death, Bane, and the night is his dawn.
Ahoy there, fellow captains, and welcome to the first video in the series where we're going to take a bit of a deeper look into Skull and Bones PvP. Over the course of this series, we're going to have a look at a variety of tips, strategies, and offer much more insight for when you come across those other pesky captains on the high seas. We're going to have a look at much more than just a PvP build, like so many current content creators do. As you see, content creators, unfortunately, such as Deathwish, pushing subpar best builds, maketh you a dread pirate. It does not. This lack of experienced, actually skilled content is what has energized me to start my creator journey. No longer able to stand idly by while the likes teach absolute rubbish to newer players, or those of you who are just looking to start off some fun in PvP. Now that you've finally finished all of that PvE content and got it out of the way. Just having a look versus Memphis in his snow with the capstan tank build, just so we can see and experience the damage that this SITHBUK can put out with the lightning culverins on the side when we're triggering that extra 50% from setting them ablaze with the infernal maw. Making use of the long nines on front, breaking the sails for the damage, and finishing off with the weak point.
Jesus, that thing does a lot of damage.
Now, we will be looking briefly at some builds over these videos. However, these are going to be provided to allow you to experience different synergies to increase your own understanding of the combos and strategies that your fellow pirates employ, in an effort to challenge you to think differently about your builds and ultimately give you some tools to use to be able to build and adapt your own so that they suit your playstyle. There is no one winning build, and depending on how you play, some will work better for you than others. Now, we start off today having a gander at a modified version of the traditional Fire Bombard SITHBUK that I love so much. But going for the feeling of a Sith Lord, we are rocking the Force Lightning from the fingers with the SITHBUK. Let's have a quick look at how you too can unleash. Now, this is by no means the strongest of my builds, but struth, is it not fun to do some smiting? So to start off, we're having a look at our furniture. As per majority of our PvP builds, we are running the rigging station. The synergy with this is just too devastating once paired with our armor of choice, the Black Prince, just to increase that survivability for most ships, but in particular the SITHBUK. Being a little bit squishier than most other ships, it definitely helps our survivability. Next up, we have the charged stores. Now, once you trigger the storm struck effect from your culverins on the side, it gives your next damage shot an increase in damage by 50%. So ideally, perfect timing if you're paying attention to hit with the long guns on the front or the back of the ship to get the maximum benefit of that 50% damage increase. It also increases the charge rate of a blaze on ships that are affected by the Stormstruck status. It's just a bit of an added bonus if we need it. We are running the Infernal Maw, which increases or that sets people ablaze quite quickly unless they're running the furniture to counteract that. But ultimately, the main reason for this is to maximize our damage on the culverins of 5% electrical damage. Moving along, we've got the Culverin Works. Further 19% secondary damage on the Covrans, again also looking at increasing that electrical damage from them. And for the port and starboard powder kegs for a straight up 10% damage increase on our Covrans. So stacking all the damage on our Covrans, it's where the majority of it comes from, as well as the long nines on the front and the back to break sails as needed, and the lightning effect from the Covrans as well as the ablaze from the Infernal Maw. Lastly, we have the First Mate's Ledger. This is in an effort to counteract anyone who's running severe damage builds, which is increasingly more so. In fact, my primary PvP build at the moment is a severe build on the SITHBUK, which we'll have a look at in a future video. But it definitely combats that severe damage and also gives the added benefit of our crew attack having that slight extra range and the stamina recovery after we are crew attacking. So our furniture, as we mentioned, the Black Prince is our armor of choice, and our weapons, of course, as mentioned, the long nines on the front and the back, the Heaven's Mandates, the Lightning Covrans on the sides, and the Infernal Maw in the middle of the ship. Now the Infernal Maw is definitely the ideal choice for the speed of which it can set other ships ablaze, so that we can capitalize on our ships increased damage to anything that is ablaze by 50%. Where the SITHBUK's power comes from is not just the furniture stacking the damage, but giving us as much of this ablaze as possible to capitalize on this damage increase. Hey guys, are you looking for a game-changing boost to conquer your day? Introducing Dubby, the ultimate energy drink designed for peak performance. With no sugar crash, no jitters, and zero artificial ingredients. Dubby gives you the clean, sustained energy you need. Packed with brain-boosting nootropics and essential vitamins. It's perfect for gamers, athletes, or anyone needing that extra edge. Fuel your focus, amplify your energy, and dominate your day with Dubby. If you've ever tried any of the other energy drinks such as Rogue, G Fuel, or Sneak, you will love Dubby. Try it now and experience the difference. At the moment, you can get 20% off everything in store using my code DEATHBANE. Follow the saved link that I've provided below for your orders. Alright, so now we've had a little bit of a look at our build, and we're going to come in and talk a little bit about the synergy of the build here, but more importantly the strategy that we're employing. And now for this first battle, we're going to be having a look at, or a lack of strategy, or more specifically a lack of situational awareness against our participant here, DJ Matty. As you can see, our build with the synergy of the Infernal Maws popping and getting a blaze on the enemy allows for quite a substantial amount of damage early on. However, if we're not paying attention to who we're fighting against, in this case Matty using close range weapons of Zamzamas and the rockets, can be quite devastating staying in at this close range. Our weapons are powerful and our damage is very strong. However, you still need to pay attention to what is going on with the enemy ship. As you'll see as we come back here, turning and going back towards DJ Matty, it's quite devastating getting those Zamzamas on our sides and on our weak points, and can turn a situation where we had a decent position with so much damage early on into a negative one, where we are just going to get absolutely destroyed here by these Zamzamas at close range. Being ablaze ourselves, not paying attention and not popping our restoration kit to drop that ablaze off, we now get eaten up and wear a lot of these rockets again, not bracing through them and staying within this close range. As you'll see here, all over relatively quickly, quite devastating. And have lost our 8th streak. Now let's have a look at it from another perspective. We start the battle here with Matty, the same weapons. We've just seen he's got the Zamzamas, close weapon, and some rockets there now as well. Change of tact, We're going to turn and we're going to keep him at this distance as much as possible. Just outside the effective range of the Zamzammers, as you can see there, not doing a huge amount of damage. And keeping on the moving away track to mitigate as much of that rocket damage as possible. He is still going to do a substantial amount of damage to us because we're going to be keeping our weak point exposed on the SITHBUK. However, it's this type of maneuver which you need to be prepared to be able to do to combat different ships at different times. Given the circumstances, staying in close proximity to Maddie is going to be devastating, as we saw. And exposing our weak point at this range, although it is going to increase our damage, not increase as much as staying within his range. So we're going to focus on his sails, keeping him slowed as much as possible by breaking his sails as we have there, and keeping him at this range where we still have effective weapons, effective lightning, and completely mitigating his Zamzammer build. This is what we mean by we gotta be able to adapt to the situation, what your opponent is running, and adjust your playstyle slightly. If you're going in and expecting to do the same thing, and if you've got a close range build, staying in close range the entire time, you'll find yourself losing more battles than you are winning. Coming in close here to try and get the board, we've failed miserably at hitting our board, hitting our ropes, so again pushing back out to that range. Back to focusing on the sails. Get our heel back on, triggering our buoys to try and get him ablazed. And breaking the sails, keeping that distance, making effective use of our long nines front and back. As you can see, playing with a little bit more distance and just exposing our weak point is overall a damage decrease, which enables us to keep the upper hand in that battle. So there we have it, guys, a little bit of a build for you to muck around with, try it, have a little bit of fun. The lightning is fantastic visual while you're playing. Hopefully we've taken something away in regards to making sure we're paying attention to what our opponent has on board and what they're doing, and making use of a change up in strategy. Guys, creating some more content for you. Please, if you like this video, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Also down below is the link to my Twitch. Having some more structured streaming on there moving forwards. Going to have some particular PvP events, as well as some general gameplay sessions to be able to help people out, come and play along, join in, having some giveaway competitions as well. Come and say hi and have some fun.